We have made it to Friday. We have made it to the second Friday as part of my 30-day challenge. So today is going to be the 10th video that I upload in this 30-day challenge. For any of you new viewers, this is something new that I'm trying out. Just posting every Monday to Friday a casual car talk video just to get past those 30 days. And after those 30 days, we will refine. And honestly, we will continue because there's no reason to stop. It's just more so an exercise of consistency and following through with something that I set out to do. On today's topic, to close out the week, we're going to talk about happiness and what does it mean to be happy. Okay, I consider myself a happy person, but what does it exactly mean? Does happiness stem from a good work-life balance? Does it come from having a good job? Does it come from being in a relationship? Does it come with having a lot of friends? Does it mean having a lot of money? Why exactly are people happy? And I think this is a question that a lot of us ask ourselves because especially now in this day and age where there's so much going on, there's so much turmoil in the world, everything sort of feels like a scam, everything just feels so corrupt. I feel like a lot of us are now asking ourselves, are we happy? What does it even mean to be happy? We're chasing this dream of being happy. I also think that my generation, sort of the millennial generation moving into Gen Z, Gen Alpha, is more concerned with their mental health. I do believe that older generations just sort of picked themselves up by their bootstraps and maybe just toughed it out. But I do think my generation, people in my age group, are more interested in being happy and chasing that. So what does it mean? Sometimes you look around you and you think, you look at people that maybe don't have a lot, certainly not maybe what you have relative to wherever you are in your life, and you ask yourself, they seem happier than I do. Maybe they don't have the fancy car or live in a nice home. Maybe they don't even have a lot of friends, yet somehow they always seem happy. And then on the opposite side of that, you see people that seemingly have everything. They have the luxury house, they have the luxury car, they have a ton of friends, but yet they always look miserable. There's like this aura about them that's always kind of sad, always miserable, always depressed, not very happy. So it makes you wonder, where does happiness come from? Is it truly just internal? Is it something that you observe as a child? Is it something that comes from elsewhere? It's not just a material thing. I think we all know that happiness is probably not material. Does money buy you happiness? I remember a long time ago listening to a famous psychologist, Jordan Peterson. Some of you may know him. He mentioned that once your primary debts, once your primary needs are met, for example, if you have shelter, if you have food, if you don't have the debt collectors knocking at your front door every day, any more money you make after that will not make you any happier. And I can sort of attest to this, right? If any of you have 9-to-5 jobs, if any of you have jobs, period, if you've been working for a certain amount of time, a certain length of time, you know that you've probably been promoted. You've probably gotten a little more money. And I want you to remember where you started, right? Maybe you first started right after college when, for all intents and purposes, a college student is pretty poor. You got that first sum of money, that first paycheck, that first salary, and it felt like you can do anything. You got a huge jump in happiness, let's say. But think about all the years that you've been working since and all the promotions you've been through and all the raises you've gotten. Has your happiness actually increased? To be honest, I can't say mine has. That's not to say that I'm not happy. I just can't say for certain that because of promotions and salary increases in the last 8 years of me working, my happiness has changed drastically. But I will tell you that for me, what makes me happy is definitely being with the right partner. I think that's one thing that makes me very happy. Being with the right partner. Being with someone that truly understands me and someone that I can truly be myself around. But I do think it comes from something deeper. I do think happiness comes from something deeper. A lot of people tell me that I see the world through rose-colored lenses. And I always ask them, why do you think that's a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Yeah, I think I do have a little bit of this ignorance is bliss mentality. And I do tend to see things in a positive light, even when maybe they're bad. Okay? But I always like to try and take a positive spin on things, since I ask myself, and I want you to think about this, why would it be bad to see anything in a positive light? If you can spin anything positively, why would it be bad? Maybe, I'm just thinking about this, maybe it's actually not good for survival. Because maybe some things are inherently dangerous, and I think you should take the necessary precautions. But I'm also not saying that just because something is dangerous, even if I see it in a positive light, doesn't mean that I'm taking the necessary steps to protect myself against it. It just means that instead of freaking out and seeing it as a negative thing and for a certainty, let's say in a situation where I might die, for example, that's really the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm still going to try and be relaxed and see things, let's say, in a positive way to make rational decisions. If you're going through life feeding yourself this cynical mindset and maybe covering it up in this, I am a realist, I see life through the realistic lens. This is how life is and this is how it's always been. Is there really any benefit to that? Are those people any happier than the people like me maybe that see things in a positive light? I think that I'm happy because everything that I do, I try to frame as a positive thing. Even on bad days, I try to view life in a positive way. I saw this image once, and it was something along the lines of, people that say money doesn't buy you happiness never had a lot of money. Or there was, I think, on a similar meme, it was one of these memes that had like 3 things, and I think, people that say looks don't buy everything or looks don't matter are people that, let's say, aren't conventionally attractive. Okay? Kind of to say that, you don't know how it is because you've never experienced it. And maybe that is the case. Maybe more money will make you happier. Okay? I'm certainly not an extremely wealthy person, right? Maybe I have wealth in other areas of my life, wealth of relationships, wealth in family, wealth in balance. But who knows? Maybe if we all became multi-millionaires, we would think back to ourselves now and realize, man, this money really does make me happy and I really can do everything. But you have to imagine, at some point you have so much money that you can do everything. And is there anything really just left to live for? This brings me to my next point here. Let me actually put my ID here to get in through the garage. There is a certain amount of responsibility and burden that I think every human needs to take on to be able to feel fulfilled and satisfied and ultimately get the thing that brings them that happiness. I think that we do need to go through hardship, meaningful hardship, to be able to feel happy. I think that when we overcome things in our life, we feel good. It's not just okay. You can be happy for an hour if you're just sitting on the sofa watching TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. I certainly do that. And I'd be lying if I said that during those moments I don't feel happy. But being happy is making these YouTube videos in the morning, because I feel like I did something different from my normal 9 to 5, right? I could just come to work and go home and just live my life on a loop, but this allows me to do something entirely different. I want you to understand that if there's any burden you're going through, it's a good thing. This morning on Twitter, I was browsing through my Twitter feed and I saw someone mention that they're gonna back out of crypto because maybe right now they're losing a lot of money, so instead they're gonna go get themselves a real job at McDonald's. I don't know if it was a meme. If it's a meme, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. But I kind of felt proud of this person, right? Because it doesn't mean that they have to completely go out of crypto. They can still get that McDonald's job and still use that salary to invest a little bit in crypto and keep having their salary. They can still keep doing both things. And just the possibilities of what that job offers, right? You might be getting new income that you didn't have before. You might be adding some new stability in your life. Going to work every day and showing up and doing a good job is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5 job. If you view it through the lens of, I'm doing this for me, I'm building myself up, I'm developing skills. If you take it through the mindset that you can continue climbing and getting better and getting stronger, gaining more wisdom, gaining more knowledge, then good things can happen. This is what creates happiness, I think. So as I approach my parking spot here, if you're watching, I want you to ask yourself, are you happy? And if you are happy, I want you to tell me why. Why is it that you're happy? Did something recently happen to you that allowed you to feel more happy? Have you been struggling with happiness for a while and one day you sort of shifted your mindset to now feel, I don't need to believe what I did before. Now I can truly be happy. Happiness to me is having a goal every day that I can work towards and accomplish and feel like I'm doing something meaningful in my life. Happiness is having family close to me so that I can call them at any time and be with them physically and share in great memories with them. Happiness to me is having the stability in my life that my 9-to-5 job offers me so that I can do the things that I want. I can go on the trips that I want to go on. I can give great gifts to family and loved ones. Find your happiness, whatever it is, and focus on it. Don't worry so much about what the rest of the world is doing. Everyone's happiness is relative to themselves, and you should only worry about what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, you really are the only person you have. You really are the only person you got. So, that's the closeout this week. My 10th video. I got 20 videos left. I did the math yesterday, and I think October 24th, 2025 will be my last video in the 30-day video series, and I'm so excited to get there. It's been so fun sort of journaling my journey through this, and if it's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to follow me through this journey, and I'd love to talk to you in the community. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all my different videos. I try to put out unique topics every single day of inspiring things that get you thinking, things to just talk about and have a good time with. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. Let me know what makes you happy, and if you're unhappy right now, are there any steps you're taking to try and get yourself to the next level, to that happiness stage? Happiness is a long-term endeavor. There's some days that you will crash and you won't feel happy, and there's some days you'll feel very happy. There's some days that the things that you thought wouldn't make you happy, and the things that you thought would make you happy make you unhappy. So anyway, with all that being said, I hope you all have a great weekend, a great Friday. And with all that, I will see you all next time. Later.